Okay, so we're going to go on to myth number 14, and yeah, this is a common one. So let's figure this one out. Another video of Jen's Keto Corner, and we're going to be talking about the next 5 keto myths. If you haven't yet checked out part 1 and part 2, then definitely go ahead and do so. This is kind of like a 4-part series, which will just help you to understand how keto has been sort of misrepresented in certain ways, and how there's a lot of things, a lot of concerns that you might have which are actually not relevant. Anyway, I just want to go through the first one, which is that keto is a fad diet. Okay, there are many people out there that will say it's a fad diet and that, you know, you should avoid keto because eating high fat's not good for you, and as soon as you go off the diet then you're going to put the weight back on, and you know, everybody should just eat in moderation. And keto has been used by cultures for centuries and centuries. And if you want to look back at the caveman era and you look at what they actually did consume, many of the cavemen actually did consume a high-fat diet. They went out, they killed their game. The first organs that were consumed with these hunter-gatherers was actually the liver, the organ meats, and this is because it is high in fat and they knew that they needed that to sustain it. The last parts of the animal that were eaten was actually the muscle meat, and that is because it was predominantly protein. Vegetables and, you know, all of the berries and that sort of thing were only seasonal, so they were not all year round. So yes, they did eat some of them, but they were in limited quantities, not in the amount that we have now. And the thing is, I have nothing against vegetables. I have nothing against real food, because like I said in one of my other myths, everybody is different. I don't expect that keto is going to be what you need to go on, but I do need you to figure out exactly what plan suits you, whether it's just changing it up so that you're eating just real food. You may be eating a lot of processed food at the moment, so just change it up so that you're getting more vegetables in, or change it up so that you're, you know, you're eating more grass-fed beef. Change the quality of the foods you're eating, whatever, but make a change, okay? And then you'll find that you'll be able to sustain it for a lot longer. Now, what I do need to say is that yes, there are a lot of fad diets out there. And, you know, we've got the cabbage soup diet, we've got the grapefruit diet. I've done just about every diet you can think of growing up, because I was always not excessively overweight, but I was a little bit chubby growing up. And so I've done every diet. I've done Weight Watchers, Easy Slim. I haven't done Jenny Craig, but you know, all of those sort of diets. And they do work, but they don't really teach you the strategies to maintain that fat loss. And that is what I classify as a fad diet. So no, keto is not a fad diet. It is one that you can maintain, but like any diet, if you go off it and you go back to eating the way that you were, then of course you're going to put the weight back on. Okay, so that is myth number 11 covered. Let's go on to myth number 12. Right, so myth number 12 is that a low carb, high protein, ketogenic diet will cause osteoporosis because it will leach calcium from the bones. Well, what I have to say about this is that a properly formulated ketogenic plan is not actually a low carbohydrate, high protein plan anyway. It's actually a low carbohydrate, moderate protein, high fat diet. Okay, so you don't need to worry about, because when you have excess protein, then it can actually leach calcium from the bones, and it can lead to osteoporosis. But because the ketogenic diet is not a high protein diet and it's actually a high fat diet, they have actually shown that it can help to prevent against osteoporosis. So that's that myth covered. Now we're on to myth number 13. was covered just a few moments ago, but I'm going to cover it again. And that is that as soon as you go off the ketogenic diet, you're going to put the weight back on again. And yes, this is true. This is obviously going to happen. And so I suppose in a way it's not really a myth, but it is because of the fact that it doesn't matter what plan you're on. If you go back to eating the sort of foods that you were eating previously, you are going to put the weight back on because you're going to naturally move towards the sugary, the salty, the highly processed foods because that's what your taste buds are wanting until your body has had the chance to eat enough real food, good quality food, that your taste buds change. Okay, so when you do go on a ketogenic plan, I'm not expecting it to be forever. But what I do want to say is even if it's not ketogenic, make sure that the foods that you transition to, because you may be on ketogenic for 6 months to a year, until your blood sugars are well in control and you've burnt off that extra fat and you know, once you're slim and you don't have that excess body fat, you're not obese anymore, maybe you don't have any brain issues at all, then you can probably start to transition more to a paleo approach. So I'm not saying that you have to stick with this forever, but I am saying that you need to cut out the processed foods and you need to cut out the man-made foods and move towards those which nature intended. So a common myth that we've often heard is that the weight loss from a ketogenic diet is purely water weight. Well, I'm here to tell you that's not entirely the truth. Okay, there's a number of reasons for this. Firstly, when you go on a ketogenic diet, your insulin levels decrease and your blood sugars decrease, and so it causes your kidneys to excrete the sodium and the excess water from your kidneys. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is that when you go on a ketogenic diet, the glycogen in your body will obviously decrease because you don't have the carbohydrates to store it. Well, glycogen contains a lot of water. So when you don't have the glycogen in your system, then yes, you are losing a lot of water. So although predominantly the first couple of days that you're on the ketogenic diet will be mostly water weight, as you go through the plan, you'll find that you'll start to be burning actual fat. Okay, now on to the final myth of this video, and that's myth number 15. Okay, so the fifth myth of today that I'm going to talk about is that of fibre. Now we all know how important fibre is for our gut health and for the prebiotic aspect of our gut, but did you know that the ketogenic diet does contain sufficient fibre to be able to promote that? So if you're consuming all of the leafy green vegetables that I was talking about, you are going to get sufficient fibre to be able to do this. Now fibre is really important for feeding the beneficial bacteria in your gut, but it has been shown through research that it's not the individual fibres like the supplemental fibres that are really important. It is more the ones that you get from your fresh, whole leafy green vegetables. So make sure that you consume plenty of that and you won't have an issue. Okay, so that's it guys. That's my 5 myths today. Remember to check out the next video as well, which will go through the final 4 myths. And remember to like, subscribe and comment to this video and to any of my other videos. And remember to put on your post notifications so that you will be notified whenever I put a new post up. So thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.